be upon you all. Today's presentation we are going to see about speeches and presentation skills. So this is Dr.S.A.Rahmath Amina Begum again, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, Vavuvajiha Women's College of Arts and Science, Kalpatnam. So let's be started. Presentation and public speech. So today's session we are going to see about the presentation and public speeches which is needed for the managers to do. So what do you mean by presentation? Presentation is that given live before an audience. So what are the things you are going to present before the audience? We call it as a presentation. So in later slides we can see in detail. What do you mean by public speech? It can cover a wide variety of different topics. So a topic will be given to you, on that you have to make a speech, which we would have done in our school life, college life, isn't it? So that we call it as a speech. So the goal of the speech may be to educate, entertain or influence the listener. So speech is for what? The speeches are given by great leaders, isn't it? They may influence the listeners to follow their path. There may be a preachers who give a speech to understand the religion. So we can say any number of topics, isn't it? So any example we can quote for speeches. So what are the 4 different types of public speaking? So we can see one by one. First one, we call it as a ceremonial speaking. Ceremonial speaking, demonstrative speaking, informative speaking and persuasive speaking. What do you mean by ceremonial speaking? Ceremonial speaking is nothing but during the time of any celebrations like welcome celebration, inauguration, like that you have to give a speech. Okay, you may allot a speaker for making the gathering welcome or to give a note of thanks or inaugural address. So that we call it as a ceremonial speaking. Ceremonial speaking is during the function time you may give a short speech, isn't it? Demonstrative speaking. So demonstration means you are explaining about something. Take for example a salesman coming to your home and explaining about what is the thing you have to do while utilizing this particular product, maybe a washing machine or maybe something else, home appliances. So he may come to your house and he may explain how to use that particular product. So this we call it as a demonstrative speaking. Then we call it as a informative speaking. So information may be given to the audience or the listeners. It is related to information. To give a information, a speech will be there. So latestly we are hearing so much informative speakings by the doctors related to corona. So this is one type of informative speaking. Then persuasive speaking, this is exclusively about the managers, especially the sales manager, marketing managers will adopt this type of speaking. This is nothing but to convince you to buy the product. They convince the customer to buy the products. You can see persuasive speaking in a salesman doing this with their customers, isn't it? So these are the 4 different types of speaking. What is that? Ceremonial speaking during the function time. Demonstration, so to demonstrate a product or services they make a speech. To give an information that may be important information, that can be done by informative speaking. And persuasive, to convince the customer, we use these type of speeches. So what are the benefits of these type of speech? So it improves the confidence. When you are a good speaker, it improves your confidence level. It improves the research skill. If you want to make any research, okay, this speech will make you to project that research in a proper way. Then stronger deductive skills. So this deductive skills will get stronger when you give a good speech. Then ability to advocate for causes. So this will make you how the product has been come to the market and all those things. So this we call it as a advocate for causes, why it has been created. So these are the benefits of the speech. So we know that is the speeches are utilized by the managers today. They have to make a presentations during the time of report. So we have to know the speech, then only we do understand the presentation skill. So speeches is very important for the managerial skill. So good public speaking skills, how you can develop this is very important thing. Okay, how to become a good public speaker. First thing is, whenever you get a chance of making a speech, you have to write the speech. So writing skill should develop. That makes you to give more advantage for speaking. Then overcoming the fear of speaking. Most of us have a stage fear, isn't it? So that can be eradicated while you have a practice of speech. practice the speech again and again. So this is the thing we have to do. Normally I do this in my presentations. Okay, before making a speech, I'll make a practice in front of the mirror or in front of the person who give a proper comment on us. So this will make us to develop ourselves. Then you have to give the speech. These are the 4 mantra you have to adopt when giving a speech or presentation. What are that? You have to write the speech. So whatever take for example, your senior may give you a chance of an inaugural address or a welcome speech, all those things. So first you need to write it. Then you have to overcome the fear of speaking. So that makes a man perfect when you have a good practice. So when you practice again and again, your fear will go out of you. Then you have to give a proper speech. Next, we are moving to the presentation skill. Of course, speech is different from presentation. Speech is a normal thing which have a monotonal thing, but presentation is something different which have ups and downs when you make a presentation skill. Presentation skill should be needed for every managers or everyone to adopt in their life. So presentation skills we are going to see now. Presentation skills can be defined as a set of abilities that enable an individual to interact with the audience, transmit the message, then present with the audience, interrupt and understand the mindset of the listener. So speech is different from the presentation. Speech here you will just give a one-way communication, but in presentation it is totally different. It may be a two-way communication and it should be a more formal. Okay, that is the difference between speech and presentation. Let's see the types of presentation. So what are the types of presentation? As we saw in the speech, here also there are a few types. Providing the information, as I told you already, providing the information about something. Doctors provide the information about corona. The same way our managers will give the information about the product they have introduced to the market. Then teaching a skill. Take for example, I am making a presentation now. This is a teaching skill for my students or the listeners who is listening this managerial skill development. So to develop their managerial skill, I am making a teaching. This is one type of presentation. Then to make a decision, of course, the manager has to make a decision, especially in finance or a financial decision or to buying a product. They have to make a big decision. For that, they can't do just like that. They will do a presentation. It may be approved by their senior personality, senior managers. Then they will do the presentation. Then selling a product or services. As I told you already, a salesperson has to make a presentation in front of the customers or in front of their boss so that that particular product may sold out. Then reporting progress. Every managers know they have a responsibility to make the report to their boss. So reporting progress is needed. Even for a student, take for example, you're doing a project or you're doing an assignment. So for that you will have to make a progress report, isn't it? That progress report should be made in the presentation way rather than submitting as a written report. Then to solve a problem. Organization have a number of problems to solve that can be made through presentation. So how an effective presentation will be? Effective presentation should be like this. No, you have to show your passion to the audience. You have to connect with the audience. So your presentation skills should match with the audience, or else it will be utter waste. So there you have to have if you really want to be on the stage with a good presentation skill, first you need to understand that you should have a passion. Passion means strong feeling on that particular event. Then focus on your audience need. You need to know the audience, what they are interested. So teenagers may be different from the kids. Kids may be different from the adults. So you need to understand what type of audience are there. Then you need to present accordingly. You have to match your presentation with the audience. Always keep simple. Concentrate on your core message. See, sometimes we may present in a different mode. But what happens, sometimes the people may deviate from that presentation. That should be avoided. Then you always have a good smile. Smile, that makes to enter into your minds of the audience. So always keep your presentation with a good smile. Make a good eye contact with the audience. You should not concentrate on a particular person alone. You have to concentrate on entire audience. So your eye contact is very essential. Start with a strong message. Okay, your message should be very strong so that it capture the mind of the audience. Tell stories and humors. Whenever you do presentation, think about your own stories, own lively examples. So this may made an audience to have a track. Use so many humor thing, okay, that will make an audience to be with you. So how the environment should be? Environment is nothing but the situation you're creating for your presentation. First, you need to know who is your audience. As I told you already, you have to know whether your audience is a teenager or a mixed audience or adult alone. So you need to know to whom you're going to present. So that is very important. Accordingly, you can match your humor sense or you can match your stories, lively examples, so that the audience will be in the track. How big the audience is. So this is also the next important thing. How big the audience, whether you're going to address 20 people, 50 people or a big audience, accordingly you have to prepare your presentation. Then what materials will be available to you? So there are certain materials available. Take for example the aid you're going to do with the presentation. Take for example whether you're having a proper mic, whether proper materials, presentation, PPTs or projectors. So where you have to see all those things. What are the materials required for your presentation? How long will you speak? So take for example, research will say that the research has been said that you can attract the people for your presentation not more than 30 to 40 minutes. After that, every audience or every person will deviate from their mind. So you have to be very careful on this. So how long you're going to speak, whether it may be 1 hour speak or 10 minutes speak or 2 hours speak, but you have to be clear that whether your audience with you. For that you can give so many activities, ice break games. This will make your presentation so unique. Then will there be any questions and answer afterwards? That is about the feedback. So that also you have to be ready with your presentation. After the presentation, you have to welcome the comments. Okay, you have to welcome the comments, welcome the questions. That only the presentation will be a good manner. Then who else is the speaking? You have to see whether you are only person speaking for the whole day or the whole hour, or whether there are 2 or more person with you to speak on the particular day. Then you have to give a lot time accordingly. So these are the things you have to think. So this we call it as the environment. Environment is nothing but the situation you have to see while making the presentation. So this is the tips for a great public speaker. Take for example, you are a public speaker, you have to have this in your mind. So the same thing, a good speaker have strong messages. So you have to have a strong message. You are going to present in front of your boss, being a sales personality or being a manager. You need to know about your product, service, brand, each and everything A to Z correctly and appropriately. You should not you should not be deviate among the audience. So then tell the personal stories. As I told you, you have to quote your personal stories. Then you can create more pictures and less text. So less text, that may not attract the audience. So you have to showcase more videos or more pictures so that you can track your audience. Then pay attention to your body language. So I'll tell about the body language you're using in the later slides. Use an animated voice. Okay, this is normally not applicable for us, but still if you use that animated voice, like take for example like vadivelu joke here and there, that make a presentation so strong. Then share the stage. If you're having a one-day program, you have to share the stage with the audience maybe, or with some other speaker. If you're the only person who are making the presentation, means that may bore down the audience. So you should be very careful in this. Practice a lot. Yes, practice makes a man perfect. So you have to practice. You can practice in front of the mirror or write and do practice again and again. If you practice, your presentation may be so unique. So you should be very careful on this. The last session now we are going to see about the interesting part, that is while making a presentation, what are the things you have to keep in mind. We told about the audience, we told about the message you are going to see, you are going to give to the audience, everything. But what you need to do yourself, what practice you need to do in the physical appearance. The first one is physical appearance, dress code and posture. What is this appearance all about? So here we have to concentrate on the appearance you have, not because you are fair, not because you are dark. So that may impact your presentation, not like that. The appearance means a smile. A positive appearance makes our audience to look on you. So you have to have a positive appearance. Then dress code, it's very important. Dress code makes a man half, so our dress is very important. What dress you're using, or what dress you're appropriate for that presentation is very essential. So normally we have n number of thing, isn't it? Casual dresses or there, smart casual is there, business casual is there. It depends upon the men and women. So you have to choose a proper dress or proper attire for the presentation. Proper attire is very important. Then the posture you are making during the presentation, posture, the body language mixed of how you stand, how you sit, how you face the audience is very important. We call it as a posture is very important for making a presentation that impacts a lot. So the last three things you have to keep in your mind, that is your appearance, your body language, posture, and your dress code. So these three things you have to concentrate while making a presentation. Hope you enjoy this session, this presentation, and improve your presentation skills. Hope you'll also do the presentation skill in near future. Thank you for patiently listening. If you really like my presentation, kindly subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to comment.